What's up, folks? This is Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. Today I thought I would give a little bit of my thoughts on the recent Fireside Chat that WoTC head Cynthia Williams and Hasbro head Chris Cox gave, and kind of my reaction to not only what they said, but also potentially what it means for us as gamers. So, as you guys know, I'm not a huge D&D 5e guy, and I'm really not excited about 1 D&D. So I was hoping that what I would hear might lead me to think that I had been wrong in some of my assumptions, and I don't think that I was. I think that it's actually probably going to be about what I expected, which is not the direction I was hoping the game was going to head. But one of the big statements was that they thought that the D&D brand IP was vastly under-monetized.
You serious?
Yeah, so they think that D&D's problem is that it's not commercial enough, that it needs to be more soulless and more bent to the will of the consumer base. And they did rightly say that the game is at a point where it's never been more popular than it is right now, and that I believe. I think that's probably true, but I don't think it's largely due to recent decisions by WoTC. I think it's more due to the fact that there are popular celebrities that now endorse the game. There's very little or no social stigma attached to playing the game. The folks at Critical Role and similar real play podcasts and YouTube videos, they add a lot of credibility to the game, and also they show what the game is capable of when done right. However, with WoTC saying that it is vastly under-monetized, that leads me to believe that they are going to be looking for additional revenue streams for the game. Some of those will be game related, and some of those will probably be IP related. Maybe a line of toys, maybe some comics, maybe some more movies. I know there is the Honor Amongst Thieves that is supposed to be coming out in the next year or two. So there's that. But I think that all of that doesn't really matter much if the game's not right. And based on some of the comments that they made about D&D Beyond and how they're going to utilize that and perhaps use microtransaction type of purchases to unlock additional content, makes me believe that this is going to be a very online focused edition, and I would not be surprised, they did not say this, but I would not be surprised if they didn't try to at least mostly switch everyone over to a subscription-based service, all your content digital, and they will sell it by saying, you know, your books will be updated automatically with the newest versions and erratas and so on and so forth. That's great if that's your thing. As you can see, I'm an old guy. It's not really my thing. So not too excited about the changes coming in that direction. And then they also, they made a statement as if it were an epiphany that anyone involved in the game knew to be a fact without hearing any data from the accounting department. They said that the vast majority of purchases on D&D Beyond were made by dungeon masters, which only represent a small, about 20% population of the total users. Duh. Yeah, I mean, DMs buy all this stuff because we like having it. Also, the investment of resources and time to read is not for everyone. And if those were the only folks that were buying stuff, was the people, or that were playing the game, were the people that had time to read everything and buy everything, then we wouldn't have very many players. There's a reason that DMs buy the vast majority of the product. It's because typically DMs are going to be of a more hosting nature. They're going to be folks that like to lead groups. They're going to be folks that like to flex their creative muscles. And that's great. But if you're going to try to milk that other 80% that are players and not as much purchasers, then you're probably going to be disappointed with the end results. Speaking to WoTC now. Players will frequently buy a book or two if it pertains to the character that they're playing or a subject matter that very much interests them, but I don't see them vastly turning around that the 80-20 purchasing situation that they've got between DMs and players. And I think that they've already tried to do this, is my guess, because a lot of the 5th edition materials already tried to mix GM, DM, and player content by having the books would have a small section on monsters, and they'd have the character options, and they would have this and that, and a little bit about the setting, and a little bit about spells, and in years past, there were largely player books and there were DM books. And so I know that Paizo has done this too with their expansion books like Guns and Gears and Secrets of Magic. They're kind of a DM player book, but they're definitely a lot more heavily impactful for a player to purchase than what the D&D books largely are. A lot of times the D&D books, the player section is very small, and so I could definitely see where if I'm playing in a campaign and I'm not a DM, I'm probably not going to buy one of those books just for one subclass that I may or may not even utilize, or the different ancestry options that are largely so vanilla now that I don't even see why WoTC would bother to put any of them in their books. I mean, just tell us that we get X number of pluses to attributes, and then we get to choose one bonus from a list of 1,000 bonuses that they have out there. Because nothing is really tied to ancestry anymore. It's more free form. So what I see from the fireside chat that they had yesterday was that going forward, they're going to want to milk the IP for everything it's worth. They're probably going to go harder in on trying to get players to purchase more. They're going to go very heavy on digital. I wouldn't be surprised, based on the comments about the purchase structure similar to digital gaming, where they may have some options that would be seen as, or at least concerned with, possible pay-to-win type situations. And they mentioned in an article I was reading that their fear would be that there would be special classes or character options that you can purchase individually through D&D Beyond. Then you have the problem if the DMs want to allow those things or not. But it's not problems that the game hasn't had in the past. It's just new ways to present those problems. And honestly, I had not looked at much about WoTC's current president, and when I saw that her name was Cynthia Williams, I was just reminded of Lorraine Williams and TSR and how well that went. And this feels eerily similar to the end of second edition, when we had so much content coming out, but so much of that content was just very poorly curated, and there wasn't a whole lot of quality. And that's what I feel like 5e has gotten to. A whole lot of content, but not much substance and not as much quality. Yeah, it's got a nice veneer over it. It looks really, really pretty and really nice. But when you get down to the substance, there's just not much there anymore. And so, I guess a little bit disappointed, was hoping for some better news, but thought I would share my thoughts, and I would love to hear yours. So if you disagree with me and you think that the Fireside Chat encouraged you, or if you see 1D&D as being something that you're excited about, I'd love to hear about it in the chat. If you want to leave a comment for me, would love to hear from you. But until next time, this has been Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. Good gaming, and God bless.